Hey there, it's me, Grace. Today, the cloth that we're making is the Snowman cloth. This is the third cloth in the 12 dishcloths of Christmas. Of course, it doesn't have to be a dishcloth. It can be any cloth. It can be for you, it can be for a friend, family member. You could even make this into a pot holder. It really doesn't matter what you do with it. We're going to start the Snowman cloth today with two colors. We're going to start with blue. This is actually called cornflower, so if you're looking for the exact color, this is Lily Sugar and Cream, 100% cotton yarn, and cornflower in white. And we're going to make a slip knot. Okay, and we're going to chain 21. Not too tight. Okay, I think that's 21, but I'm going to have to go back and check because I wasn't really paying that close of attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 21. Okay, so now that we have our chain of 21, we're going to make our first row of single crochet. And basically that's what we're going to do. We're just going to single crochet along our happy way. Nothing will change until the 5th row. So let's go ahead and work into that second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one. Make a single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across this chain. So in every stitch in the chain, we're going to make a single crochet with the white. Hang on to that blue and keep it handy though, because we'll be changing up in just a few minutes. And it's also important to make sure that your chain is not twisting on you. If you need to, you can lay it down. Just make sure that it's all running the same direction. And please excuse my squeaky chair and also my washing machine. I was trying to do a load of laundry and there's no door on this room that I'm in, so there's no way to block out the sound, so I do apologize for that. Alright, one more, and we should have 20 single crochets on this first row. Now we're going to start the second row. So we're going to chain 1 and work 1 single crochet into each stitch across for 20 single crochets. We're going to do each subsequent row this way. We're going to do this row and 2 more rows just of the white, and then I'll show you what to do next. Now that we've completed the 4 rows of white, we're going to add on blue. And this can be any blue. It doesn't have to be a light blue. You could use a dark blue like the denim or a navy color, but that's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do is actually start with a slip knot on this, since it's on the end. I'm going to put it on my hook. Okay, and just pull it through, and that will be where I'm joining on. I'm going to chain 1. Well, I think I am. There we go. I'm going to chain that 1. Let's pull that down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to start working, but I want to work across the tail. So I'm going to work across the blue, and I'm going to carry the white as well, because we'll need the white again in a minute. We're going to make 5 blue single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you can drop that blue, but keep working across the white because we want to carry that. Alright, in the 6th stitch here, we're going to just pick up a loop. We're not going to complete that stitch. If you've seen my previous videos, you already know the drill. We're going to pick up that white that we carried and complete the stitch with the white. Now, the next thing we're going to do is 7 single crochets of the white. But you know what? We're going to carry the blue because we'll need the blue again on the other side. Alright. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in the 8th one, pick up that loop, drop the white, pick up the blue and complete the stitch, and then complete the cloth to the end, which is 6 single crochets of blue. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Turn. We're going to work 2 more rows just like this one. So let's chain 1. We're going to work blue, and in the last blue here, we're going to just pick up a loop, pick up your white that you carried, alright, or that you dropped, excuse me. Make sure you're working across the blue. We're going to do 8 single crochets of the white, but of course the 8th one is only going to really be half because we're going to complete the stitch with the blue. Continue working across the blue. Okay, we have this one is the last white. Pick up that loop, drop the white, pick up the blue, complete that stitch with the blue, and then complete the cloth to the end. 6 single crochets with blue. Alright, one more row just like this one, and I'll leave you to do that and I'll show you the next row. Now that we've completed that row, it's time to start again, and it's pretty much the same thing, but this time we're taking an extra stitch. So we're starting to shape the snowman's body now. So we'll begin the same way we have before, and this is going to be for a total of 5 rows. So we're going to work 5 rows exactly the same. So after this one, I'll leave you to do the rest, but we're just going to chain 1 and then begin to single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, but instead of 6, we're doing 7. So this is 6, and then go 1 into the white. All right, this is 7. Just pull up that loop, pick up your white, and complete that stitch. Now for the white, we're only doing 6 single crochets. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the 6th one, pick up that loop. Oh, you know what? I didn't carry my blue, so I need to take that out and redo it. My mistake. And that will happen from time to time. You might forget to carry. Sometimes I do, and it's very, very frustrating. unfortunately have to take out and start over, but that's okay. That's easily done. 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one, pick up that loop, drop the white, pick up the blue that you carried, and then complete the cloth to the end, 7 single crochets in blue. Okay, I'm going to show you that one more time, and then I'll leave you to do the other 3 by yourself. Chain 1 single crochet in the first 7, 3, 5, no, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had my count wrong. Alright, pick up a loop, take the white, and complete that stitch. Now we're going to carry the blue and make 6 white single crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one just pick up a loop, drop the white, pick up the blue, complete that stitch, and then complete the cloth to the end, 7 single crochets in the blue. And if your yarn is getting tangled, as mine is, you just want to take a minute and untangle those. Okay, so that was 2 rows. We're going to work 3 more rows exactly like that one. So I'm going to leave you to do that, and then I will show you the very next step. Okay, we've completed the 5 rows that were just like the one before, and now we're going to do it a little differently. Not really differently, but with a different count. So now what we're going to have is a beginning of 8 blues. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and remember on the 8th one just pull up a loop, pick up that white and complete the stitch. We're going to make 4 white single crochets here. 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one just pick up that loop. Alright, complete it with the blue, and then work the remaining stitches in blue. So you should have 8 single crochets to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's make sure that I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There should be 8. So let me pick this stitch up right here. One seems a little tight. There we go. So this is 8. Okay, now we're going to continue on for 3 more rows, and then I'll show you the next step. Now that those rows are complete, we're almost done with the cloth. So I'm going to use now a dark blue. It's really called denim. You can use any dark color. It doesn't have to be a dark color. It can be a light color. I'm going to give the snowman a top hat, If you don't want him to have a top hat, if you want it just to be more like a knitted cap, you would just repeat this row, but then add on the color that you want for his cap here. And then continue that for 3 more rows. But since I'm giving him a top hat, I'm going to revert back to the way it was down here. And so if you want to just follow along, you can, or you can go ahead and work your row the way that you're going to do it. But I'm going to do one less blue, one less of the light blue. Okay, so instead of, how many? Instead of 8, I'm going to make 7. Okay, so I'm going to stop, let's see, right here, and I'm going to add on, I've got yarn fuzz sticking to my nose. It's making it itch, so I'm sorry about that. Alright, complete that stitch with the color that you're carrying, and you can drop the white completely because we're done with it now. Okay, and let's see, let's go ahead and take 6 stitches of whatever hat color you're using. I wanted him to have the kind of traditional top hat, but you can make it any hat. And if you even wanted to make a baseball cap, you could do that. Just put more stitches out to the side, whichever side you want the bill of the cap to be on. So one more stitch, we're just going to pull up a loop, drop the dark blue, and pick up that light blue that we carried. I hope you remembered to carry it so you don't have to frog it and start over. If you're not sure what frogging is, it's just ripping out. Of course, this kind of ripping out isn't quite as bad as in sewing. You're simply undoing your work. Alright. Now on the next row, I'm going to come in 1 stitch on each side because I want the top hat to start to go up. Alright, so let's turn the work. We're going to go back to 8 single crochets of the light blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, 7, and then 1 more, and you can kind of work across that tail if you want to. Remember just to pull up the loop, pick up the blue, the dark that's on the ball, or whatever color you're using for the hat, complete that stitch, and let's make 1, 2, you know what, let's do 1 more of the light blue, because I want it to be a really defined hat, like that you can really tell it's a top hat. So let's go in 1 more. So complete that stitch with the blue, go in 1 more, oops, with that, pick up the dark color, complete that stitch. Now we're just going to have 2 with the dark color, so pull up that loop in the second, pick up the light blue, complete that stitch, and then complete to the end of the row with the light blue. And I'm not sure why I'm carrying that dark blue. Don't carry the dark blue, or whatever your hat color is, don't carry it because you're going to pick it up later when you come back. I have no idea if any of that was on the camera because I just looked up and saw that my hands are way at the top. I got carried away looking at stuff not on the camera. Okay, now we're going to repeat this row that white's still getting a little tangled up in there, so I'm going to pull it out real quick. Okay, complete that stitch with the dark blue or hat color. Do 1, 2 stitches. Complete that stitch with the light blue and then finish the cloth to the end with the light blue. And we're finished with the hat color now, so you can just clip that. Now to complete the cloth, we're going to turn and do one whole row just of the cornflower, just of the light blue or whatever your background color is. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then we will weave in all the ends and I'll show you the next step. At this point our snowman doesn't have much definition, so I'm just going to take about 2 feet of the cornflower and I'm going to start to define the snowman. So I want to come in just above the second row. Well, you know what? Let's start at the top. Let's see. I'm going to start in here. And I'm going to leave enough tail to weave in. And just go across 1 stitch. And then up through the next. Just doing a little back stitch. Just to define that separation between the head and the body. And you might need more than 2 feet. This just happens to be what I started with. Please forgive any kid noises that you hear. My kids are just getting up, so they tend to make a lot of noise, especially early in the morning. Okay, let's go over one more. Good. Alright, so that's definition between head and the body. And then down here, between the body, let's see, let's do this. So, I'm going to kind of run this down till I get to the place I want to be. Okay. Then come up and start to go over. I'm just going to start doing that back stitch again. Just all the way across. Alright, I don't think I have enough to complete what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and weave this in. I'll spare you the details on that, but I'm going to weave this in, and then I'll come back with another length of blue and show you the next. Okay, so his body comes down into the snow for a couple of rows. So I'm going to start here and just go up. Something's happened here. Oh, I see what I did. Silly me. I was on the wrong side. And I'm going to start here. Huh. As opposed to the other side I was on. Okay. I'm going to go down 1, 2, and then I'm going to start to go over just with that same back stitch. I'm just going to go across. Just want to make a differentiation between Snowman and the snow that he's sitting in. So it doesn't just look like a big pile of snow, it'll actually look like a snowman. Came undone. Okay, let's go over one more, and we'll start to go up where it fades into the background. Okay, now from here we're just going to weave that in. So I'm going to take a minute and weave in the tails. I'm going to make Mr. Snowman a scarf, so I'm going to use this green that I had. This color is called Renegade. It's just a variegated green. And I'm going to use my G hook. I'm going to chain probably 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to work back across that all the way to the end just with single crochets. Okay, and every scarf has a tail. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be one tail, and then I'm going to chain up 3 and just end off. Okay, so now I have 2 tails, but I want more fringe than that, so I'm going to just wrap this a couple of times around my fingers, clip that, clip it here. Oh, I only ended up with 3. So let me make 4. There we go. Alright, and I'm going to attach these on. I'm going to take off of those tails. Well, let me get a bigger hook though. And pull all the tails through. Okay, like that. And just pull it tight so it won't come loose. Same thing with this one. Just go through, pull that through doubled. Right, insert a larger hook. and pull all those tails through and pull that tight, and then you're just going to give it a little haircut just so that they're kind of matched in length. And as we did on the cloths before, we're going to tack this on. This is his scarf. So we're just going to use a yarn needle. I'm going to use my steel tapestry needle and just tack this on from back to front in a running stitch around. I picked out some little red buttons for my snowman, and I'm just going to take some embroidery floss and tack on the buttons. So I'm going to use 3 buttons for his body, and then I have these that I'm going to use for his eyes, and then I'll stitch on a little carrot nose. And you can use whatever you want. You could make French knots here. Instead of great big buttons, you might have tiny buttons. These were some small buttons that I had, some of the smallest ones that'll actually show up on his face, because the tiniest buttons I have are white, so obviously they're not going to show up. But anyways, I'm going to complete my snowman, and I'll let you complete yours, and then I'll show you the finished product. Now that I've added the buttons and the carrot nose, I'm going to add a border to my cloth. You may choose to, you may choose not to. That's completely up to you and the kind of border that you add. I'm just going to add a simple border to mine, and I just want to say thank you for joining me for this cloth. I hope that you had a really good time making this little snowman cloth. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll join me next time for cloth number 4 in the 12 Dishcloths of Christmas. Until then, have a great day. Bye. I decided I'm going to show you the kind of border that I'm putting on. I'm just adding a simple picot stitch, so I'm going to slip stitch right here in the corner, and I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to go back into that first chain that I just made and do a slip stitch. And I'm using my G hook, but you can use the same I hook that you used, or whatever size you used on the body of the cloth, but I'm excuse me, I chose to use the G hook. So in the next stitch, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Make sure that's sticking out. And then in the next one, I'm going to slip stitch, chain 3, work back into that first single crochet, the first chain stitch I just made. Okay, in the next one, I'm going to slip stitch. In the next one, slip stitch, chain 3, work back into that first chain stitch that I made, and slip stitch there. So I'm doing every other. So the next one after the picot, I'm just doing a slip stitch, then I slip stitch into the next one and work another picot, which is the 3 chains, and then work a slip stitch into the first chain that you made. So I'm just repeating that around. But you can add whatever border you want. This is just a very simple border that works up quickly and it looks great.